Welcome everybody to the first Two Blokes One Ball podcast. We have a great show for you today. This is our first official podcast. We are so excited to speak to you guys today. We have great big hopes for this podcast, and let's begin. So, starting off with match week one, what are our first thoughts?
I mean, boys, there's so much to look at for match week one. Every team plays, so you're gonna see everything from every single team. I think we should really just look over the winners and losers of match week one. Um, my winner personally would be Man City. We have a team go out after a ton of changeover and a new lineup, new players coming in, and already the team is already molding together. Holland scores two on his first day, which he's done 3 years in a row now. And yeah, the team is just firing on all cylinders. We are a team that struggles against Tottenham. I'm not worried about our second week, but I think the first week was a really good start for City and was a really, really big win for us to be able to bring all these new guys in and immediately get started and play well. So that's my winner.
I personally, I'll go after the first 2 weeks because that's what's happened so far. I think there are three teams at the moment that look to be a level above the rest, and that would be three London teams actually, in Chelsea, Arsenal, and Tottenham. Tottenham and Arsenal are yet to concede a goal. Chelsea looked very good against West Ham. Granted, West Ham are potentially the worst team in the league, but their Chelsea's draw the first week was a bit worrisome, but we give them some space. Um, like Jack mentioned, I don't think the result against Tottenham for City is actually a problem because they do always struggle. Um, I think there's a lot of potential there. Cherky and Reinders, I think both have potential to be signings of the season. But I do think Cherokee performance against Tottenham was a bit worrisome.
Yeah, I agree.
And but my player of the week, but my player of the week for week two is Paulinho, and I think that's a big reason why Cherokee was a bit off was because of Paulinho's monstrous performance. Um, but I'm optimistic
I
for
actually have to back. I actually have to back Max here. I think Paulinho is criminally underrated. One of the best sixes in the world,
who's the player best player
especially
in the league this week.
especially in the Premier League. I remember him at Fulham. He was just impossible to get past. And I think when he went to a league in the Bundesliga, it was tough for him because of the different style of play, and they don't really rely on a six as much to build out. And Paulinho is more of like a kind of like a destroyer as a six. He's less of a someone who's going to get the ball and play a 60-yard ping,
He's
but
an out of possession player. He's
yeah,
basically a third center back.
100%. But he's the best at it for sure.
Yes.
He honestly reminds me of Rodri a lot in that sense. But yeah,
Okay, well, for Chelsea's game, I obviously went to the game in London. I saw a lot of highs and a lot of lows.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
lots of
a
lows.
0-0 draw, which was very unlucky. Andre Santos, very unfortunate miss, very unfortunate sky. Eberechi Eze's last game at Crystal Palace, played
Banger,
well, but
banging free kick goal that got disallowed.
all right, Clipbot, let's keep it down to a low.
I mean, it was a great finish to be
yeah,
fair
it
to
was,
him,
it was a good catch.
Great
but
finish,
but
but
but but it should have been disallowed. So unlucky for Eze.
yeah. Other than that, what are we thinking for our top players of the week for match week one?
Um,
Are we doing just one?
Yeah.
Okay, well Holland has to be. I mean, he scored a brace on his first game for the third year in a row. So
I
yes,
think it had to be Richarlison or
reindeers,
Kudus
reindeers,
maybe.
reindeers were Charleston, Kudus, Holland.
In all seriousness, I think Reinders was probably the best performer game week one. And I'm just saying that because obviously Tottenham, it's very easy to perform against Burnley. I thought Reinders had one of the best debuts I've seen
Yeah, he did
from a
well.
Premier League player. I do think Paulinho is my player of the week for match week two, but I also think some guys that really stood out were I really like Neto's performance for Chelsea. Obviously Esteval and João Pedro were also great, but Neto was my pick there, and I think Jack Grealish's performance was very
Yeah,
impressive at Everton as well. And I think Guimaraes was underappreciated against Liverpool as he dominated the midfield, but unlucky with the result.
hmm Well, we saw a lot of new signings coming in. Hugo Ekitike coming in from Liverpool, got his first goal in the Prem. We saw players like Chiesa score their first Premier League goal. We saw Sunderland overperform. They were top of the league at one point. What are our thoughts on Sunderland?
They looked horrible against Burnley. Absolutely horrible. I think the first match, I think the big win against West Ham is more says more about West Ham than it does Sunderland.
I agree.
I think both
Mhm.
teams will struggle greatly.
Yeah, I
And
think
I
West
think
Ham actually could be a shout to go down.
Yeah, I
I
could see
think
them
I
going
think
down.
I think if West Ham keep Potter and keep Hermanson in goal, I think the highest will finish is 19th.
Yeah.
So with that topic going on, what are our three relegated clubs this season?
I think that's tough because there are a lot of really poor teams. I think West Ham have been the worst so far, even worse than all the three promoted clubs.
Yes, and with West Ham losing at the moment to Wolves as well in the Carabao Cup, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
I do think that's yeah. They did just lose, and they blew a goal lead as well and
yeah,
conceded twice in the last 10 minutes. I think
yeah.
that's very concerning
And
for
we've seen a huge trend that the three teams that come up go right back down. But I do think this year possibly West Ham will be a team that goes down with two other teams that came up. And I want to say Leeds has. I am hopeful for Leeds to stay,
I like their attacking football.
Yeah, I think
but
they're going to stay.
I think Sunderland and Burnley, it's going to be really tough. And I think Burnley is almost a clear shout to go back down.
Hey, one team that I think is going down, definitely Wolves. I don't think there's just nothing really like good about them that like will make them stay. I
I,
think Sunderland's better.
I think they'll stay up just because their team's worse than they are, but they're not. There's not much hope for them. It's just I just think they're simply better than Burnley and Sunderland at the end of the day.
Yeah,
But I mean, even then, I know the 4-0 loss against Man City was significant, but they, at least for the first half hour before they conceded, I thought they were decent actually.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I don't think they're that bad. And only losing 1-0 to Bournemouth, especially after conceding so early, is was promising as well.
Understandable. So now moving on to match week two. Our top games were obviously Arsenal's 5-0 win, Chelsea's 5-1 win, a surprising result, Tottenham 2-0 against City.
I wouldn't even call it
How
surprise.
was that surprising?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it surprising.
That's just not surprising at all.
It's not surprising.
Manchester is Lily White.
Oh,
I wouldn't go that far, but I definitely wouldn't. I'm not. I was not surprised with the result
How?
at all. And the way that Tottenham has come into this season with new signings as well as City, and I've been able to put out
Only
already
two new
playing
signings though.
playing
Let's
together.
remember that. We've signed two players.
Yeah, two players that went in and started. Two players that went in and started. That's
Yeah.
still huge. The way that they're able to put those guys out and play the same exact football they played the last year was pretty impressive to me. And Richarlison, I really rate as a striker. I think he's had big confidence problems and stuff going on mentally with him that's been making his career look a little worse. And he's kind of been one of those players that people like to joke about. But if everyone remembers the 2022 World Cup, we know what this guy has, what he has in his locker. I mean, he's one of the best nines when he's on his day. So I look for a big season for Richarlison, and week two he looked good as well. So yeah, I definitely am excited for Tottenham, and hopefully they can kind of finally break this curse that they have on them.
Yeah, he was very good, and I have to agree. And his in the 23-24 season, he did have a stint where he managed to stay healthy for a couple months, and he scored 10 goals in 10 matches, and I think that went quite unnoticed by the media, as unfortunately there is a bit of an agenda. But I think he has potential to be really good this season. Thomas Frank has already stated that Richarlison is his starting number 9. And I think Tottenham are in a good position with Richarlison and Solanke to provide proper competition for each other. But I do think Paulina's has been Paulinho and Kudus both have been brilliant, but I think Paulinho's performance against Man City is one of the best midfield performances I've seen from a Tottenham player in a long time. And I think our the trio of Bentancur, Sarr, and Paulinho in particular was the best midfield performance I've seen in a while.
Yeah, I think that's one of the better midfields Tottenham has had in the last 10 years.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. So, Drew, I have a question for you. How do you feel about your reaction from Chelsea to go out and win 5-1 after drawing on their home opener at home against a inferior Palace team that just takes players that can't play on Chelsea? So, how do you feel about being able to react and not go down again, lose again?
Because
Well,
he wasn't there. That's what.
well, um, excuse me. I was there. Well, we mustn't forget the
What, the
FA Cup
second one?
final where Palace defeated City. Um, Evidently, I think Palace are a good team. Obviously, winning the Community Shield, beating Liverpool as well, the champions. It was just an unlucky play. Obviously, the game could have gone both ways. Obviously, Eze's goal, Andre Santos's miss in the final minutes, very unlucky. But to come out win 5-1 against West Ham, obviously not the best team in the Premier League, but that just shows us what we're made of. Esteval, an amazing performance. When I watch him, I feel like I'm watching the next Neymar. Um, Palmer, I'm very scared for. I mean, my goat. Thank you very much. Um, I've seen so much from him, and he's actually on my FPL team. And seeing that he's not on the pitch because I think it was a groin injury,
Yeah,
scares me a bit. Another shining bright star is João Pedro. A goal and 2 assists on his second Premier League game. Obviously, he's showing that he will be great under this attack. Maresca I believe, he will win the league before Arteta. I
I
think we
agree
all
as
Every,
hold him
well.
to
every,
it.
everybody's gonna win the league before Arteta, bro.
yeah.
Yeah,
But Drew, I think you're kind of rambling. You're not really answering my question. I'm wondering, how can a team who won the Club World Cup, which you think is so significant, beat the PSG team that no one thought they could beat? How can they go after beating PSG, play a team like Palace, which only has a couple players that are worth over 50 million, and a team that has more of like a heart? They're playing with heart, and they're like, how do you go into that game and just tie Chelsea or tie Palace at home, like on in such a significant game? Like, you need to prove, like, Chelsea is supposed to be contending for a title now.
I
well,
do
you
think
can't
that's a good
forget
question. Seriously, I mean, what did go wrong?
what went wrong. I believe the midfield was not on their game that day. Caicedo looked a bit poor, even though his match rating was high. Enzo Fernandez looked a bit poor.
Trading.
I think it's just the midfield that we lost and unable to finish attacks. Um, I mean,
But where did that go? Is what I'm asking. Like, what's the disconnect? Like, how can you go from beating PSG to not even just tying Palace?
it's just the day of form. I
Or
mean, you lost.
maybe if you could understand this, the Club World Cup doesn't matter, and PSG was not worried about the game. If you could think about that.
Yeah, that's why City went out to Al Hilal, I believe.
Yeah, because we're not worried about the Club World Cup.
I mean, you played all your starters, but I mean, it's not really
But
my
you
topic
can
of
play
today.
starters and not be trying to win the game.
Okay,
I,
well,
Let's
let's
I,
have the
go.
I,
same take.
I think the Club World Cup is objectively significant
I
and
don't
will
think it's
be
significant at all.
and will be one of the biggest tournaments in the world.
Yes, definitely.
It was it was in America.
And I think it was very underappreciated.
It was in
Uh-huh.
America and it was played on football fields.
I mean, it was,
It's still all the
and that
starters playing.
was poor, but I think the tournament
Yeah.
itself has great
All the
potential.
stars were playing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, you saw it yourself. You went to both games with me. You went to Chelsea Fluminense and Real Madrid PSG, and you saw that the big stars were playing. Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, Cole Palmer was playing, João Pedro was playing. I mean, I feel like, and also the big prize pool that went into it. You can't go into a tournament that can give you that much money and not play your starters. I feel like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, everyone played their starters. I'm just saying I don't understand. That's the disconnect I'm not understanding is Chelsea's ability to be inconsistent is kind of what I'm pointing out. Because how can you go into a game and play so good and just absolutely destroy the best team in the world, but then not be able to compete with a team who's usually finishing mid-table? Is just what I don't understand.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, you were able to. I mean, why was City able to smash Wolves and then they lost to a 17th place Tottenham?
but because we've always had problems with Tottenham. That's
So
not because
again,
that's not a new thing.
it's just a technical problem. I mean, some teams play worse against other teams. That's just how the game works.
Would you say that Chelsea plays worse against Palace?
I wouldn't say they play worse, but they didn't play at their best.
I don't know.
I
I
mean,
mean,
we'll see how the season unfolds. It's only match week 2. You can see progressions, degressions go along the way. Let's move on to the other side of Manchester, Manchester United. There's a stat going on that Ruben Amorim has, I believe, 29 games in the Premier League and 28 points. What do we think of that?
I think he has to go. I think his system is not fit for the league. Um, I think it's quite straightforward, unfortunately. Because I do believe in his signings. I think Cunha and Mbumo are very good signings in themselves. I think Sesko will not do as well as the other two, but I don't think he has many excuses.
But
And
what manager will want to go into that system? Like what manager is willing to go into the United role where they know how much backlash they're going to get if they don't win? I feel like the pressure is too much.
there will always be a manager willing to take on United
But they won't be
it's a
good enough.
challenge.
But they just won't be good enough. The last
Uh,
three managers they've had weren't good enough. They weren't Premier League level managers.
I disagree.
Who was Premier League level? Who was Premier League level manager?
I personally think Ole was sacked way too prematurely.
Well,
You know,
looking
I mean,
back on it,
I
sure,
brought up.
but with the history, you have to sack him.
I mean, he finished second place in the league, and then had a poor start of the second season, and he was sacked. I'm trying to find the statistic of the win percentage. If you could give me a second. Um,
I mean, I agree with you more on the Ole, but I don't think Ragnick and Amorim are fit for Premier League level. I don't think either of them were fit for Premier League level, and that's just the result that they're going to get. So
I think Ten Hag even is a significantly better coach than Amorim. I don't think either of them are the quality that they need, but I don't think this is the time to trust in a coach. I think
yeah,
they need to
but
sack until they find the right one.
the question is, if they do just keep going down this period of underperform sack, underperform sack, underperform sack, underperform sack, at what point do you trust a manager, even if he's underperforming? Do you trust him because, like, how can you fix United at this point? Because they have just gone so far down and haven't been able to go back up.
Fortunately or unfortunately, however you look at it, that's a club that will always be fixable because they've one of the highest revenues in the world, and they're always going to have insane money to spend, and there's always going to be players that want to go there. Even this past window, we saw players, choose United over Tottenham, even after, Tottenham beat, Man United haven't beat Tottenham since 2023.
Yeah.
But because it's United, players still go there. And Bumo chose to go play for United instead of Tottenham, even choosing to not play for his coach, that it essentially made his career. This is a club that has a specific pull that not many clubs in the world have.
But it hasn't. But it hasn't done anything in the last 3 years.
I think they've made personnel progress. I mean, as of right now, they're under a complete wage restructure, and I think that'll be successful. It's important to get players off the books, and they're a very good selling club. I think they're going through it now, but we've seen other clubs go through it. Man City went through it. We've seen Chelsea go through it at times, and they've all came out on top. I don't think Man United is in a position to finish in a Champions League position in next year or so, but I think a couple more good signings, maybe a top midfielder, to play alongside Bruno, and a better coach. I think we're going to see a huge leapfrog in progress.
In gold, in a goalie.
I think they're close. Yeah, yeah. They need a new keeper as well.
Yeah. What do we think about Bruno? Do we think that Bruno is helping the club or hurting the club?
I think at the moment he's helping the club for sure.
What about-
He's one of the best players in the history of the league. and I think he gets underrated at times now. And I think it'd be way too bold to try to move past him. I don't think it's the time to let Bruno go.
I think Bruno's is overrated, and because I think that he picks his pride in himself over the club numerous times. I mean, he's the captain of the club, and he's constantly bickering and whining. And this is why that United has such an issue with egos on their team, because their own captain is constantly not doing what a captain should be doing. So the players look at the captain and say, "Yeah, it's okay. The captain's doing it." I mean, I can firsthand examples of when any club I play on, we look at the captain, we act on the captain. So when you have a captain like Bruno who's constantly complaining, whining to refs, diving, just picking his pride over the team, you're never going to go anywhere. And I think they've had so much trust in this guy since 2019. And that's honestly where we start to see the huge fall off of United. And I think people actually are overlooking how much Bruno hurts United. And also, when we look at stats and stuff, of course, sure, Bruno is an amazing player. No one is taking that away from him. His ability to pass, score, anything outside the box, he's ridiculous. But what he does defensively hurts his team 100%. He's a 10 who likes to play and then walk back on defense. He doesn't help his team defend. And when he is defending, he's constantly fouling and then whining and complaining and then getting yellow cards for his team and red cards as well. So I think, honestly, one of the biggest problems with United is captaining someone like Bruno Fernandes and letting him lead a club. I mean, you're never going to see any
who do you captain at United
instead of Bruno.
Yes.
That's the problem, is they don't have players that are
so you can't.
Well, you definitely can captain someone other than Bruno. You can always captain your goalkeeper.
Harry Maguire.
So you captain Onana instead of Bruno.
I wouldn't captain Onana instead of Bruno. I would most likely captain
Maguire.
Probably Ugarte or Maguire.
Hold on. Are we saying Maguire? Are we saying Harry Maguire?
Yeah. I would captain Ugarte over Bruno.
No.
Yeah. You cannot have someone
Ugarte.
Yeah, 100%. You cannot
that's the worst take I've heard all day.
No, you cannot have a captain like Bruno. That's
you
what
can't
happens.
have a captain like Ugarte. He's
Okay,
one
but
of the worst
Ugarte
midfielders in
is
the league.
like
Hold on.
He doesn't even start for them.
I think somebody said Maguire. Are we seriously talking about Harry
Yeah,
Maguire?
I said Maguire as a joke, bro.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, well,
Maguire's the best captain they've had.
You could also,
yeah,
I mean,
Maguire's
honestly, you could captain
Ugarte.
No,
Okay.
you could captain. Well, you need to captain someone.
Who
Personally, I
sits
think
on the
the
bench?
captain should be
He's the worst player on the team.
He's definitely not the worst player on the team. The captain should be in the midfield, 100%. So if Kobe Minu can get on the field, you could even captain Minu.
I actually do see that coming in. Yes.
They're selling him. They're looking to sell.
I don't know why they would be selling him. He's
because he's not good.
Oh, that's the worst take of the day, 100%. What is
goal?
Kobe Minu
His goal against Wolves set the perception back so much. If he had not scored that goal against Wolves,
okay. What about Leon? What about his impact against Leon?
Look, there's quality in Manu for sure, but he's way too inconsistent. I'm not saying there isn't a ceiling there.
There's
potential, but he cannot dominate a midfield. There's just
he doesn't
not
get
that
to
ability
play.
at the moment.
How can you call it inconsistency? He doesn't get to play.
Because he doesn't play because sometimes he plays and he's not good.
No, bro, he's good. He started a final 18,
Bruno and Casemiro, and Amorim setup, those are the midfielders.
Could we see Casemiro become a captain?
This is the problem.
I think Casemiro would be the best pick, yes.
Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro. This is the problem with United. You're staring at it. You're talking about it.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You have
Casemiro's been one of their best players the past season.
Casemiro, is not for United. Not for United.
Yes, he has.
No, he's not. He's not even a fifth of the player he was at Madrid. He's collecting a paycheck.
He doesn't need to be.
Yes, he does.
He's getting paid way too much, but he's been good. He's been very good.
He has not been good. He doesn't do anything. He just sits up in the middle and clogs up the midfield. Bruno and Casemiro are the problem of United. I would stand on it forever. You're sitting with
they'd be relegated, by the way, if they lost both of them.
No, they wouldn't. They would improve. They would improve if they lost both of them.
We'll see tomorrow against Grimsby.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem with United as a City fan looking at it. 100%. It's Bruno, and it's the signings that they make. But this window is their best window they've had in the last 10 years. I think there is some hope for them. But if you fire Amarim right after he gets his signings, I mean, what does that even do? Like,
I think with the signings they made were so necessary. Any coach is happy with those signings. And Mbumo and Cunha, like I said before, especially are such good signings. I think as an attack, success is inevitable.
but okay, if you want to fire Amarim, which I completely understand,
Like I don't know who replaces him. I don't.
I don't either, but why not fire him before the season starts? Like, because now you're just making it harder on the players again, because you're going into a system with the system
Yeah, that's
that
a
you've
great
been training
question.
in the preseason, the entire preseason. Now we're going to go into it. Let's say they drop 5 games, which most likely they will. Let's say they're in 18th place. He's going to get sacked. But why not United go into a season with a fresh start? They haven't had a preseason with a new coach since Ole. Like, they haven't had. It's always been interim. It's been like a new guy in the middle of the season, or something in the middle of the season, or something like happening. They
Well, I
sack
mean,
him.
I mean, Ten Hag has had full seasons.
Yeah, I know, but Ten Hag also then they bring him and then sack him again. So then you're in the same issue. You know what I mean? Like, they need a full reset, and they're getting there. They're getting close, but I don't see United getting back to the level that they were at ever. Honestly,
I think it's always a real possibility for them. Again,
let's not forget
for
how
many of the
dominant they
reasons
were.
I mentioned
Let's not
earlier.
forget how dominant they were. I don't know if they can get back to that level.
Oh, to that, no. I mean, we don't know. I mean, I think once Pep leaves City, I think a lot can change in the league. Um, I think, he's still definitely in a position of dominance, but I think a lot's possible.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're moving on to I believe it was 5 clubs that qualify for Champions League. Was it 5 last year? Who do we think is going to win the Champions League this year?
6.
It was it was
I
5.
think I think one goes to a play-in.
Yeah.
I think it's 6 and one goes in a play-in.
Well,
Everyone's
it's
getting too
6.
confusing.
It was top 5 plus Tottenham.
Forest, wasn't it Forest?
No, Forest are playing Europa League.
You're right.
Yeah.
Who was 6?
Villa.
So Villa's in the play-in, right?
Believe
No,
so.
for Champions League.
Yeah. Who are the top? Who's going top 5?
Well, it was top 5 plus Tottenham. Yeah.
Okay, right.
You're right. You're right. Okay, so who do we think is going to go far? Who's the who's the Premier League team that will go far in the Champions League this season?
Uh,
City, Liverpool, Arsenal.
I think Chelsea and Arsenal are the two picks for me. I think I was skeptical about Maresca, but I actually think the Club World Cup performance really cemented him as the ability to have a good performance in a tournament as well as the Conference League. Despite that being a much lower level. I think Arteta, despite his inability to win over the course of a season, I think he is a tournament coach. And I think he has the potential to do very well, especially with depth, as I think depth is the most important thing when it comes down to these tournaments at the end of the season. I think Liverpool will struggle in both the league and Champions League this season.
Why?
I I I think they've done poor business. I think especially if they sign Isak, I think that will cause more struggle within the club. I think the turmoil is inevitable, and they're focused on signing luxury players that they simply don't need. Um, and I think it'll be damaging in the long run, similarly to what Real Madrid have done.
So on the topic of Liverpool, do you think they have the flop of the season, Florian Wirtz?
Uh,
It's way too early.
I,
No,
Way too
no,
early.
no,
look, I believe in Verts. I do believe that was a luxury signing. I don't think they needed him by any means. I thought Man City was the perfect choice for him, honestly. But I believe in him. I mean, I think he's been one of the best players in the world the past couple of years, and I think he's bound to do well. Um, but I think Liverpool are in quite the situation. I think the most positive thing to come out recently was yesterday when Rio made his became the fourth youngest Premier League goal scorer in history.
Yeah,
All
that was
match, Salah had looked very poor. Ekitike was great, like always, but
Salah.
Rio,
Salah, by the way, was getting pocketed by 6'6" Dan Burn. Let's just think logically, as if you're Salah and you get the ball. What should you be doing against someone who's 6'6" and has a slow step? Take him down the line. I don't understand what Salah was doing the whole game. He got
because
the
he
ball
doesn't
like
do that
that.
anymore. He just tries to pass from deep,
Yeah, but
because he's washed.
yeah,
But
he might be washed.
but once Rio came on, the game completely changed, and perfect finish, thanks to Shabazai, who was outstanding at right back. By the way, I thought
Yeah,
he was one of the few real glimmers.
he did very well. I thought Anthony Gordon played amazing for Newcastle. I know he was
You
being
mean
guarded
until he kamikaze,
until what?
until he killed Virgil?
Yeah, until he killed Virgil. I thought he was playing amazing. The way he was getting in behind and pressing was amazing to see. And it was a weird. I've never seen Gordon play like that, and I think it was because of the Isaac issue going on right now. I think he's trying to claim that 9 spot or at least be on the wing. Um, but I thought that Newcastle honestly was outplaying Liverpool until the red card, and then even a little bit after the red card, they started playing really well as well. Um, as a City fan watching Liverpool, I always feel like they get outplayed, but always find a way to win. And that's something that I noticed with Liverpool that I
Yeah,
don't notice with Arsenal. I don't notice with Chelsea. Um,
I
that's
noticed that with Arsenal. Arsenal win many matches they don't deserve to win, which is what has made me very worried in the past.
yeah. I mean, I can see what you're saying, but I feel like theirs
And
is.
that's what they do. That's what they do with set pieces.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
it's
mean,
more
they
set piece,
pull the set pieces out of
more set
nowhere
piece
and win
oriented.
matches.
But that's the way that they play. So it's like they want to be behind, not behind, but they want to be like close, and then they just hammer set pieces and win. And yeah, but no, I really actually I thought Newcastle did amazing that game. Fabian Schär is one of the most underrated players in the league. He played amazing, and I just feel for Newcastle because how well they fought. Going down a man that early is absolutely devastating, and the amount of running that the players had to do to press with 10 was ridiculous. And I really commend them for the effort that they made. And I think Newcastle, if that's the result, that's the reaction after they go down a man. I think they have very high hopes for the season. I thought Joe Linton did well as well too. So I think Newcastle can really shine this season.
Yeah, I'm excited to see them in the Champions League. I
Yeah,
I I think they're definitely a wild card. I don't think they have the depth to do well and make a deep run. But I think if they nail their striker situation down, I mean, I thought yesterday after once following Bruno's goal, I think Osula's substitution was a turning point in the match for them after they had been missing a striker, uh, you know, the rest of the match, and then he was able to come on and score, and then that was a clear shift.
yeah. I mean, I remember we saw Newcastle go Champions League 2 years ago, and they came up against a PSG team that was very reliant on Dembele, and they honestly just crumbled again. I mean, at St. James, everyone
They were
thought
shocking in the
that
Champions League.
everyone thought Newcastle was going to win that game, and I just remember PSG just put the nail in the coffin on them and completely ended it. So I definitely expect a reaction, better Champions League season for them this year, and I think they definitely can do better. They've had a lot of players that at the moment weren't ready for Champions League, but I think now can be ready. And I see a bigger expectation for them this season, and I hope they do well.
So moving on to our next topic, who do we think is going to win the Champions League this season?
For me, I think Barcelona is still the favorite naturally. I just think it's simply the best attack in the world. Um, I think midfield's top, and they're all young players getting better. I think Rashford is actually a really helpful signing for them. It should be able to provide good depth for Lewandowski and Rafinha both, alongside Ferran Torres, who's actually been impressive recently. And then
I
I think,
honest,
I think Arsenal, Chelsea are like,
I just don't see Arsenal winning it. Like I feel like they can go far in games, but they just have that bottle factor. Their players are not proven to win trophies. Um, I mean, obviously, the
that
only
is true.
player that has won a trophy recently is Aberi Eze. and he's just coming into a new team, new system, so I don't feel like they can win it at least this year. I hope never. Um, I think this season, I honestly could see Inter winning it. I know they're usually not expected to win it, but they have one of the best defenses. We see them in the final, or at least far in the tournament, almost every season.
They
At
did
least
have a very good
recently.
opening weekend in the Serie A.
Yeah,
Very
they
good weekend.
they have been playing very good. I don't think Napoli, the winners, could win it. I just don't feel like they have that factor. I feel like they
Do you
focus.
think do you think De Bruyne gives them a bit of an extra edge?
I do, but I feel like he's just getting older and older by the second. I don't
I
think
mean,
it's,
true.
he's coming into a new system, new like from what he's so used to every year. But yeah, I do see Inter going far, potentially winning it. I do see Chelsea going far or not going far at all. I feel like it's kind of
The
like it's
brave
up for
take.
grabs. I would like to see them win, obviously. Um, win it 3 times, more than City, more than Tottenham, but uh yeah, I don't feel like other clubs really have. I feel like PSG could go far, but I also feel somewhat that that season could have been somewhat of a fluke. It all just goes up for grabs. That's the beautiful game of football nowadays, is you just don't
Yeah.
know who's gonna win it.
Yeah,
That's
I am excited to see despite the depth being non-existent, I don't think there's a good chance at actually winning, but I'm excited to see Frank's ability in a tournament setting, just because we've never seen that. Um, you know, with a top squad, and as you know, he's known for having the ability to compete very well against the top clubs. I think he has a lot of potential there, and I'm genuinely excited. Although one injury has the potential to derail Tottenham's entire season.
I would say I think either City, Liverpool, or Madrid will do it this year. Just with the star power that these teams have, and I think Madrid has gotten pretty unlucky the last 2 years. I think that they actually may be able to get over the hump with all their signings and finally fitting together. They've had a good grace period of figuring it out, and I think this season they'll be able to prepare the entire time, and we could actually see that ridiculously talented Vinicius again. We could see that talented Mbappe again, and of course they already have their backline in midfield, one of the better ones in the world. Um, Liverpool's star power definitely scares me. I think their signings are ridiculous, and they have a lot of potential. I mean, they've been very good these first 2 games, and then City, of course, is just always going to be.
Very shaky yesterday, though. Very
Yeah,
shaky.
yeah, that's true. But that's a good Newcastle side. That's teams that they're going to have to play in the Champions League, and like I said earlier, like Liverpool is just that team that will always pull out a win when even when it seems like they won't need it, and that's what you need in the Champions League. So.
Yeah,
Uh,
I do agree with that.
City, I think, has a possibility. I think it'd be a little early for us, but we are always going to have Pep at the helm, and
Yeah,
it's more down to injuries. If we can keep a healthy 11, similar to Tottenham, I mean, we have the players. You just need to keep them healthy and play, and then we'll see from there. But I would say, honestly, my take would be Madrid. I think they can do it this year.
I mean, I do think you comparing Man City's depth to Tottenham is a bit outrageous, but
No, no, no. I didn't compare it at all. I just said if you keep the players healthy. All I was saying is if you keep
yeah.
those.
I mean, you could say that about any side.
Yeah, but
Um,
Tottenham constantly deals with injuries. That's why I pointed out Tottenham. Other
yeah,
teams
yeah,
don't have the injuries like Tottenham. Tottenham last year almost lost their entire starting 11, and their starting 11 is ridiculously good. But when they can't keep them healthy,
that
they're
is
just a
true.
shit
Yeah,
club.
that is true.
I do recall Max complaining about Tottenham's injury problem. Hearing it almost every day. Uh,
Yeah, it was a
Obviously,
problem.
Chelsea experienced that for a while in the 2022 season. I mean, we saw a bunch of players go out injured.
They're
Uh,
experiencing that right now with Cole Palmer.
I mean, it's just a. I think what was the term they used? I don't know if I should say it on the podcast, but um, yeah, I feel any club can go far. I actually don't see teams outside of Ligue 1, Premier League, or La Liga going far. Other than that, yeah.
Drew, do you think
Saying League
Saka?
unlike any other team from League One could even get in fucking qualified. You could just say
Strasbourg
Respectable.
actually
PSG.
Strasbourg
Respectable.
actually can win the Champions League. Thank you.
You could just say PSG. That garbage league.
Drew, do you think do you think he's manifested his injury proneness with all of his limps? Do you think he's finally become fully injury prone following his new injury after his long-term injury last season?
I believe one that beholds the limp continues the limp. I mean,
I have
obviously
to
the guy's
agree.
just inconsistent. You told me actually, Saka scored his 70th goal and he's been in the league, what, 8 years?
This
Yeah.
is his eighth season,
I
yes.
think, and he's defined as a world-class player,
Saka
which,
is the most overrated player on earth. I stand by it, and I will stand on it forever. He's the most overrated player on earth. He's not even a winger. He's a fullback. He's a glorified fullback playing right wing. He's not. He doesn't even know what he's doing. It's just Arsenal luck, garbage, shitty assists, and a bunch of back post runs where he's wide open in front of the goal. Have we ever seen this guy score a goal outside of the box? I've seen like 3 in 8 years.
Uh, well, I mean, yeah, we have seen him score outside the box, but we don't see him score often, as he has scored twice since November.
Yeah, that's not a world class player.
I think what defines a world-class player is they can go into any team and make it better, and I don't see Saka doing that. I mean, you see players that
I
were
agree.
defined as world-class, like Phil Foden, going to the England team. He had more babies born during the Euros than goals and assists. I think I mean, that just shows world-class. Cole Palmer obviously scoring in the final, assist in the semifinal, but yeah, what defines a world class? They can go anywhere and make the team better. Who are our world class players this season?
R11.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go.
Um, to be
Um,
fair, Richarlison does have more goal contributions this season than Saka does this year, which I think is I think is very important to note. Uh, after 2 matches, so I think Richarlison has an argument for world class. Um,
I,
World class? What?
no, 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 no.
We see a pigeon want to be in world class. You've heard it here first.
Harry Kane's the best striker in the world.
no,
Um,
Yes,
well,
no,
he
yes,
is.
that is true.
He is.
he's
That
not.
is true.
Um, the reason I
Someone close.
disagree with your Real Madrid take, and as to why they're unable to compete at the highest level at the moment is because they lack a striker. Um, I think they're unable to finish, to really compete for the Champions League until they have a top true striker, which would have been someone like Kane or Holland, or if they were able to manage either of those signings, but they prioritized signing a player in a position they already had, and I think they're going to be left behind because of it.
What do we think about Rodrigo?
I think he's becoming a bit overrated at the moment. I think he's nearing world class, but I don't think he's as good as he's said to be.
Well, he doesn't even get on the pitch. They don't even want.
Um,
They don't want him. So
I mean, well, I mean, the problem is, he's their third best left winger, and the other position, his preferred position actually is the number 10, which they have Jude to play for. So I think he's in a very tough spot, and
I think he should
if
leave.
I think if the opportunity to join City is true, I think that's an opportunity he needs to take, and I think he would flourish there under Pep.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. I think that's enough, guys. We're gonna have to conclude the episode today. We'll come back after match week 3, give you our opinions. Great episode today, guys. Make sure to follow us on all socials. All two blokes, one ball. Yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. All right. Peace.